Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the ocean's most iconic residents. When you think of the coast, what comes to mind? Crashing waves, sandy beaches, and maybe, just maybe, these guys. Starfish, or as scientists prefer to call them, sea stars. They're a common sight in coastal ecosystems all around the globe. But here's a fun fact to start us off. Despite their name, they're not fish at all. They're not even remotely related to the stars in the sky. Instead, they belong to a unique group of marine animals called echinoderms. Starfish are part of a specific class called Asteroidea, which is a big family with over 1,900 known species. And being an echinoderm means they have some pretty cool relatives. Think of sea urchins, those spiky little balls you see grazing on algae, or the soft, squishy sea cucumbers you might find on the sandy seafloor. What do they all have in common? Few key features, like a special water-powered system for moving around, and a body plan based on 5-part symmetry, known as pentaradial symmetry. It's what gives them that classic star shape. Let's take a closer look at their anatomy. A typical starfish body is made up of a central disc, which is like the main hub, and usually 5 arms, or rays, branching out from it. Some species are a bit extra and can have dozens of arms. If you were to gently turn one over, you'd see the magic happening underneath. Running down the center of each arm is a groove, called the ambulacral groove. Inside this groove are hundreds, sometimes thousands, of tiny, flexible appendages. These are the tube feet. They are incredible little structures that work using hydraulic pressure, and they're the key to how a starfish moves and eats. It's like having an army of tiny water-powered legs. So how does this movement actually work? It's all powered by that water vascular system we mentioned earlier. Imagine a complex network of plumbing inside the starfish. Water from the ocean enters through a small, sieve-like plate on its top surface called the madreporoid. From there, it flows through a series of canals that branch out into each arm, ultimately filling the tube feet. By controlling the water pressure, the starfish can extend and retract its tube feet in a coordinated wave, allowing it to crawl along the seafloor, rocks, or even up the glass walls of an aquarium. It's not exactly a race car. A typical starfish might only move about 1 or 2 meters in an hour. But it's a steady, relentless, and surprisingly effective way to get around. Now, what's on the menu for a slow-moving creature like a starfish? One of their favorite meals is a bivalve, like a mussel or a clam. You might wonder how a soft-bodied animal can get into a tightly sealed shell. Well, this is where the starfish's strength and patience really shine. It wraps its arms around the mussel, attaches its powerful tube feet to both sides of the shell, and begins to pull. It doesn't need to rip the shell wide open. It just needs to apply constant, unrelenting force until a tiny gap, maybe just a fraction of a millimeter wide, is created. And that's when things get really weird and wonderful. The starfish then does something incredible. It averts its stomach. Right. It pushes its own stomach out through its mouth, which is on its underside, and slips it right into that tiny crack in the shell. The stomach then releases digestive enzymes, turning the prey into a soupy meal that it can slurp back up. It's a case of external digestion, and it's one of the most amazing feeding strategies in the entire animal kingdom. You might be thinking, how does a creature with no brain coordinate all of this? Well, it's true that starfish don't have a centralized brain like we do. They are far from simple. They have a complex nerve net that allows their body to communicate and react to the world around them. For instance, at the very tip of each arm, there's a tiny, primitive eye called an ocellus. It's not an eye that can see images, but it is a photoreceptor that can detect changes in light and shadow. This helps the starfish navigate towards dark crevices for safety or perhaps away from bright light. And their decentralized system is also key to another one of their superpowers, regeneration. Many starfish species have an astonishing ability to regrow lost arms. If a predator takes a bite, it's not necessarily the end. In some remarkable species, if a single severed arm contains just a piece of the central disc, it can regenerate into an entirely new, complete starfish. It's an incredible survival mechanism. Beyond their own survival, starfish play a huge role in the health of their entire ecosystem. Species like the ochre sea star, Pisaster ocraceus, are what biologists call a keystone species. In the rocky intertidal zones of North America's Pacific coast, these starfish are top predators of mussels. By keeping the mussel population in check, they prevent them from completely taking over all the available space on the rocks. This leaves room for other organisms like barnacles, anemones, and algae to thrive, creating a rich and diverse community. Without the starfish, the mussels would dominate, and the ecosystem's biodiversity would plummet. That's why it's so alarming that since 2013, a devastating illness called sea star wasting disease has swept through these populations. Scientists believe the disease is linked to rising ocean temperatures and has caused a decline of over 90% in some starfish populations. This isn't just a tragedy for the starfish, it's a crisis for the entire coastal ecosystem they support. As we watch the tide roll back in, covering the rocks and pools once more, it's a powerful reminder of the delicate balance of life in our oceans. The slow, deliberate movements of this starfish are part of a much larger, interconnected story. These creatures are not just beautiful coastal ornaments. They're engineers, predators, and vital guardians of biodiversity. Their struggle for survival is a reflection of the broader challenges facing our marine environments. Protecting them means protecting the rich tapestry of life they hold together. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the world of sea stars interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the natural world. See you next time.